it is very big. When the postman delivered it at my house, he said, "What did you order?" Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And for the people that are here for the first time, welcome as well. And please subscribe to my channel because I will post a lot of more botanical or plant related stuff in the future. So today I want to talk about something that I have been using over the past couple of months and I am stoked about it. What I want to talk about today is Lechuza Pon. And yes, I am not 100% sure how you pronounce it. Is it Lechuza, Lechuza? I don't know. All I know is that it's a German brand and they make different things. They make pots, they make stuff for your garden, but they also make an amazing substrate, which I absolutely adore. So today I want to go through a few different things. First, I want to tell you more about Lechuza Pon, the substrate, what it is, how it works and stuff like that. Then I would love to share my advantages of Lechuza Pon, the disadvantages. I would love to show you some of my results that I've got since I've grown in Lechuza Pon, and eventually I would love to show different ways how you can use the substrate. So what is Lechuza Pon? Well, it is a stony substrate and I would love to show you. I'm using my new camera, so hopefully it is actually out of focus on my face, but hopefully it will also show you how the substrate looks. And it consists out of pumice or pumice and lavastone. And how they advertise it on their website is that it's a good ratio because it's 55% aeration or air and 45% moisture. And we all know that air or aeration and moisture are two important things when growing your plants. So why do I use Lechuza Pon? Well, first of all, it's just very easy to use. I'm gonna talk about different methods of using Lechuza Pon later on, but for now, I just use it because there is less chance of bugs on your plants or in your substrate, because a lot of bugs, they lay their eggs on top of the soil, but this is an inorganic substrate, so the bugs won't be attracted to the substrate. So that is for me a very good benefit. And I must say, since I started converting my plants from soil or maybe leca to Lechuza Pon, I haven't seen any bugs. Please, I hope that it will keep that way or stays that way, but I must say I'm very happy with the results when it comes to bug reduction. Another thing that is very important is that it's very airy. So it's almost impossible to overwater your plant, which means that there is almost not a chance that your plants will start rotting in the substrate. I love to water my plants and sometimes I notice that I just water them a little bit too often because I was just excited to water them and to care for them. But sometimes I ended up with rotten roots and I had some plants that rotted away because I just watered too much. And the last thing that is also an advantage for me is not a messy substrate. I mean, when I drop these stones on the floor, it's easy to just get a broom and clean it off, or I can just pick them up by hand and put them back where they belong. For when it comes to soil, it's always a little bit messy. And I know that a lot of people love to have their hands in soil, and I must admit, I also like that and sometimes I miss that. But on the other side, it's never messy anymore. I can talk on and on about the advantages of using Lechuza Pon, but I think the best thing to show you is just the results that I got. And after this, I will start talking about the method and how I use the Lechuza Pon. But for now, I just want to show you some of the results. This small leaf was when I just got it. Then it got this leaf, which has some damage over here. It's a little bit crispy. And since I started using Lechuza Pon, I got this beautiful leaf. And what about this beautiful leaf? It is so much bigger than the ones that were before I put it in Lechuza Pon. So for me, When I started, it started pushing out bigger leaves and it started growing faster. For me, that was already a sign that this is the substrate that I was going to love. Another plant I would love to show you, let me put this right there, is this beautiful Alocasia fried. It has a botanical name, but I'm not sure of it right now. So the leaves were this big when I got it, or even smaller, like this one. But now the leaves are getting huge, and I mean huge. And I am 100% sure that it has to do with the fact that I started using Lechuza Pon. Another example is this beautiful mix of alocasias. There is an Alocasia baginda dragon scale in it, as you can see right there, and a Alocasia baginda, but the silver dragon one over there. And as you can see, it had pushed out this beautiful leaf and this beautiful leaf, but it also started flowering. I have 1, 2, 3 flowers. So hopefully in the future I will be able to make a video about how to pollinate the flowers and just show you the process of growing Alocasia from seed. There are different ways how you can grow your plants in Lechuza Pon. Let's start by the most simple method, and that is with the self-watering pots from Lechuza. These are the self-watering pots. And as you can see, they are not the prettiest. Well, not for me, because I'm a big fan of terracotta and just like more, I don't know, this is just too modern for me. But the plants are doing really good in it, because as you can see, it's putting out new growth. The leaves are getting bigger than before, and it's just loving it. And it's very easy, because you just check the water meter. If the water meter is on minimum, you're gonna fill the reservoir to the max. And what I do, I just water the substrate instead of using the watering hole. Let me get the plant out of the outer pot. So what we have here is the outer pot, which holds the water. I just use normal water and I use fertilizer. Later I will explain a bit more about fertilizing that I use. But the water will just be sucked up by capillary action, so the whole substrate will be moist. And when you see that the meter is at minimum, you're just gonna water it again. It's very easy, but as I said before, I'm just not a big fan of these pots. They come in different sizes and different shapes, but they all have this kind of modern look to it, which is not something for me. Here I have another self-watering pot from Lechuza with a Philodendron gloriosum. And this is the smaller one, and it has these little strings that will suck up the water, but it works exactly the same. Another downside of Lechuza is that the pots are kind of expensive, especially when you're not a big fan of them. They are just not very cheap. So I found out another way of growing Lechuza in self-watering pots, and that are these pots from Elho. And the roots are already coming out because it's just growing really fast. And this works exactly the same. There's a meter. When the meter is at minimum, I water the substrate till the meter goes back to max. Very easy, and it works perfect. But some of these pots are not that pretty, as I said before, so I prefer to grow them in terracotta pots. And there are different ways of growing in terracotta pots or just nursery pots with Lechuza. And that is, you can make sure that they are on a tray with water, so there is water in the tray the whole time and the plant will suck up the water. But you can also just water it regularly. It's always hard to tell how many times a week someone has to water, but I would say that I water this plant maybe every 3 to 4 days, because it's just sitting, there. Since it's so airy, when I water it, all the water comes out, and I know that it stays moist, but sometimes I'm scared it dries out a little fast. So another way of growing your plants this way is by putting water in the basin or the saucer, and just make sure that it's on a high water level, so fill the whole basin with water, and the water will evaporate and create moisture around the plant, but it will also work by capillary action, sucking up the water, so the substrate will be moist. Then the last way is kind of similar to the little pot from Lechuza, but this one I made my own, is a outer pot, and then I made these little strings. The only thing that's in the water are these little strings, because the nursery pot is too big to sink to the bottom. And as you can see, this big Fittonia, which I got from Rogier at the Botanical Garden of Leiden, is doing amazing since it got to this substrate, or since it got in the substrate. You can buy Lechuza or the Pon, the substrate, in different sizes. They got the 3 liters, the 6 liters, the 9 liters, and the 18 liters in, I'm not 100% sure, but I will link everything in the description below. I started with a small bag because I wanted to try it out, but soon enough I found out that it works perfectly for almost, or I would say all my plants. So I just bought the big box with 18 liters, and it is very big. When the postman delivered it at my house, he said, "What did you order?" And you have to remember that I'm living on the 5th floor of a apartment building, so he had to carry it all the way up. One of the disadvantages of growing in Lechuza Pon is that the substrate is already fertilized with a synthetic fertilizer. And I know that there are a lot of people that don't like that, because they wanna fertilize with their own fertilizer, or they wanna not fertilize at all, or they wanna use different fertilizer for different plants, and this comes with a synthetic fertilizer that will last up for 6 months. They do sell fertilizer at their website as well, and if you're gonna use that, you only need to fertilize your plants 2 times a year, every 6 months. But I'm just using a fertilizer that I love, and I dilute it with a lot of water, so it is not a strong fertilizer anymore. So guys, today I have told you a lot of information about Lechuza Pon and how it works and how you can use it, but I would just suggest buying a bag, converting a plant to Lechuza Pon, and see the magic. One important thing that I would like to tell you is that when you get a plant and it is in soil, I would suggest rinsing off all the soil of the roots before putting it in Lechuza Pon. Some people have told me that their plants are going through a little struggle before they finally started thriving in Lechuza Pon. I personally didn't have any plants that were struggling. They all just developed new leaves within maybe 1 or 2 weeks. But that is something to keep in mind, because there is a chance that your plant needs to acclimate a little bit. So, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments below what is your favorite substrate. And thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon. Hey guys, I totally forgot to mention one thing, because when you are growing in these glass containers that I just showed you, where are they? These ones. I just experimented with them. I must say that it's really airtight and there is not a lot of airflow, for as far as I know, in these glass containers, because they are just made out of glass. So there is a chance that, I don't know, that eventually it won't be so good for the plants, but They have been in there for about, I would say, 2 months, and they are still doing good, but I just want to do a little disclaimer before I am going to say something to you that will mess up your plants. So if you are going to grow in these glass containers, please keep in mind that in my experience it works, but be careful when you are going to grow your plants in a method like that.